Staying with us, I'm Bill O'Reilly in a personal story segment. And a few weeks ago, we conducted a poll to see if you wanted Michael Moore on this broadcast, and most of you did. So we vowed to track him down. Moore dodged us, saying he wouldn't appear on The Factor until I saw his entire film. That's fair enough. I saw the first half at a screening and picked up the second half about a week later. But Moore still didn't come on until yesterday when I cornered him on a Boston street. Moore said he'd do an interview with The Factor if we didn't edit it, and he could ask me some questions. I said, all right. So here is my chat with Michael Moore. We've not edited it, other than to go to commercial because we have to. So take a look. All right, here are the rules. Ready? I ask you a question, then you get to ask me one, and then back and forth. You all right with that?
That's fair. We'll just stick to the issues.
The issues.
All right,
okay.
Good.
Now, one of the issues is you, because you've been calling Bush a liar on weapons of mass destruction. The Senate Intelligence Committee, Lord Butler's investigation in Britain, and now the 9/11 Commission have all come out and said there was no lying on the part of President Bush. Plus, Vladimir Putin has said his intelligence told Bush there were weapons of mass destruction. You want to apologize to the president now or later?
He didn't tell the truth. He said there were weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, but he didn't lie. He was misinformed. By all of those investigations come to the same conclusion. That's not a lie.
So in other words, if I told you right now that nothing was going on down here on the stage,
that would be a lie because we could see that wasn't the truth.
I'd have to turn around to see it. And then I would realize, oh, Bill, I just told you something that wasn't true. Actually, it's President Bush that needs to apologize to the nation for telling an entire country that there were weapons of mass destruction, that they had evidence of this, and that there was some sort of connection between Saddam Hussein and September 11th. And
okay.
he used that.
He never said that. But back to the thing. If Michael Moore is president,
I thought you said you saw him.
Which may happen if Hollywood.
I show all that in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
But that was your question.
This is issues.
That's your question.
You've got 3 separate investigations plus the president of Russia, all saying British intelligence, U.S. intelligence, Russian intelligence told the president there were weapons of mass destruction. You say he lied. It's not a lie if you believe it to be true. Now, he may have made a mistake, which is obvious.
Well, that's almost pathological. I mean, many criminals believe what they say is true.
All right, so now
they could pass a lie detector test.
You're dancing around the question.
No, I'm not. There's no dancing around. He said something that wasn't true.
Based upon bad information given to him by legitimate sources.
Bill, you know that they went to the CIA. Cheney went to the CIA. They wanted that information. They wouldn't listen to anybody.
Did he go to Russian intelligence and Blair's intelligence too?
His own people told him. I mean, he went to Richard Clark the day after September 11th and said, "What do you got on Iraq?" And Richard Clark's going, "Oh, well, this wasn't Iraq that did this, sir. This was Al Qaeda."
You're diverting the issue. Did you read? Did you read Woodward's book?
No, I haven't read his book.
Okay. Woodward's a good reporter, right? He's the Watergate guy. You know who he is, right?
I know who he is.
Okay. He says in his book, George Tenet looked the president in the eye like I'm looking you in the eye right now and said, "President, weapons of mass destruction is a quote-unquote slam dunk." If you're the president, you ignore all that?
Yeah, I would say the CIA had done a pretty poor job.
I agree. And Tenet was fired.
Yeah, but not before they took us to war based on his intelligence. This is a man who ran the CIA, a CIA that was so poorly organized and run and wouldn't communicate with the FBI before September 11th. And as a result, in part, we didn't have a very good intelligence system set up before September 11th.
Nobody disputes that.
Okay, so he screws up September 11th. Why would you then listen to him when he says this is a slam dunk and you're going to go to war?
You got MI6 and Russian intelligence all saying the same thing. That's why.
Okay, here's my question.
You're not going to apologize to Bush. You're going to continue to call him a liar.
Oh, he lied to the nation. Bill, I can't think of a worse thing to do for a president, to lie to a country, to take them to war. I mean, I don't know of a worse.
No lie.
He did not tell the truth. What do you call that?
I call that bad information acting on bad information.
Hey, a 7-year-old can get away with that.
All right, your turn.
Mom, Dad, it was just bad information.
I'm not going to get you to admit it wasn't a lie.
It was a lie, and now, which leads to my question to you. Over 900 of our brave soldiers are dead. What do you say to their parents?
What do I say to their parents?
Yes.
I say what every patriotic American would say. We're proud of your sons and daughters. They answered the call that their country gave them. We respect them, and we feel terrible that they were killed.
But what were they killed for?
They were removing a brutal dictator who himself killed hundreds of thousands of people.
But that is not the reason it was given to them to go to war, to remove a brutal dictator
because of his brutality. Well, we're back to the weapons of mass destruction.
But that was the reason.
The weapons of mass destruction.
That we were told we were under some sort of imminent threat.
That's right.
And there was no threat, was there?
It was a mistake.
It was just a mistake. And that's what you tell the parents of a deceased child?
I think that's what those parents believe.
We're sorry, it was a mistake.
Yeah, that's what you have to tell them.
Bad intelligence. We're all sorry. I don't think that's good enough.
Well, I don't think it's good enough either for those parents.
So we agree on that.
That is the historical nature of what happened.
Bill, if I made a mistake and I said something and did something as a result of my mistake, but it resulted in the death of your child, how would you feel toward me?
It depends whether the mistake was intentional.
No, not intentional.
Or unintentional.
It was a mistake.
Then if it was an unintentional mistake, I cannot hold you morally responsible for that.
Really, I'm driving down the road and I hit your child, and your child is dead.
If it was unintentional and you weren't impaired or anything like that?
So just that's all it is alcohol. Even though it was a mistake, how would you feel?
Now we're wandering. Now listen.
No, but my point is.
I know what your point is, and I answered your question.
But why? What did they die for?
They died to remove a brutal dictator who had killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
That's what they died for.
That was not the reason they were given.
Their weapons of mass destruction was a mistake.
Well, there's 30 other brutal dictators in this world.
All right, I got another question.
Would you sacrifice, let me just finish on this, would you sacrifice your child to remove one of the other 30 brutal dictators on this planet?
It depends what the circumstances were.
You would sacrifice your own child for that?
I would sacrifice myself, I'm not talking for any children, to remove the Taliban. Would you? Would you? That's my next question.
No, I would be willing.
Would you sacrifice yourself to remove the Taliban?
I would be willing to sacrifice my life to track down the people that killed 3,000 people on our soil.
Yeah, that was Al-Qaeda who was given refuge by the Taliban.
Yeah, but we didn't go after them, did we?
We removed the Taliban and killed three-quarters of the
That's why the Taliban are still killing our soldiers there.
Well, look, Moore, you can't kill everybody. Come on. You don't, look, you wouldn't have even invaded Afghanistan, would you?
No, I would have gone after the man who killed 3,000 people.
How?
Go to where, as Richard Clark says, our special forces were prohibited for 2 months to go into the area where they believed Osama was.
Why was that?
Yeah, that's my question to the Bush administration.
Because Pakistan didn't want its territorial sovereignty violated.
No, this was in Afghanistan on the border. Why didn't we even go there?
We were there in Bora Bora.
He got a 2-month head start.
Okay, we're going to wrap up the Moore interview in a moment. Oh, boy. And once again, we did not edit this interview. We just have to take a break because that's what we have to do by computer dictate. And we're going to be right back to wrap up the Moore interview, and I'll have some comments on it.